Hello, everyone. Welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. We're going to take a quick look at Sandbox. Before we do, we look at Bitcoin first, see what's going on there, right? Because we need to kind of understand where we're at. And Bitcoin just keeps testing 56,000 as if it is trying to push below that, right? Now, just to clarify too, this double bottom pattern we had recently doesn't seem like it's coming to fruition. It could be kind of an ugly double bottom. This might be a really long bottom over here, but it doesn't really look like that's going to happen, at least at this point in time, considering the price is stuck between 56 and 58,000. So just bear that in mind. Let's also take a quick look here. The moving average is working its way down. So we'll see soon if that is going to keep the price moving down or if it can break above and hold above. I think that's going to be a really important indication here soon and where the price is going to go. I personally feel like we're getting this descending wedge pattern forming here, and I think a break to the downside seems pretty likely, just based on the sheer fact that it keeps working itself into this smaller little wedge closer to that support level. And bear in mind, the more often you test the support, the more likely it is to break, right? Same thing with the resistance. So that being said, Bitcoin is not in great shape. But it's right around 56,000 for the moment. So, just consider dollar cost averaging as it goes down, or, adding to your position. I would also recommend doing the same thing with Ethereum, just based on the fact that I think that coin has more potential for 2, 3, 4x this year versus Bitcoin. Just my own personal thoughts, though. All right, so let's take a look at Sandbox here. And it looks like it breached $7. So we're looking definitely quite significant here. That's a heck of a run. And just before we look at this, of course, I'm not a financial advisor, right? So I'm doing this for educational purposes only. My goal is to help you become a better trader and to learn as much as you can. So I'm going to try to educate you in this process. If you need more, I wouldn't say hands-on, but if you need more, help, a leg up, so to speak, I have a trading community where I send out signals for all the trades that I take, so you can kind of see how those are structured. But more importantly, you can kind of get the feel for what it's like to be, a trader that does this every day for work, right? Now, granted, things are a little bit slower right now. Sandbox is definitely an exception, but for the most part, the majority of the market is kind of just on pause, but these coins are taking off, right? So we'll take a look at that, of course. And what I just did is I removed the Fibonacci retracement levels, just based on the sheer fact that we need to go ahead and establish new ones. It had already basically broken that major resistance, right? I'm going to delete my alerts here. We're going to set new standards here today. So let's take a look at the one-day chart. Moving averages are well behind. All good. You can see we got this bounce off of 70 on the RSI. That's basically what helped me take a position yesterday for my community, or correction, I think it was the day before. But what happened is we hit all of our profit targets, right? Quick 15%, and then it just kind of consolidated at resistance, and then it took off again. So I really wasn't expecting that. Sandbox has just been surprising the heck out of a lot of people, just like KuCoin is. And it's really cool and refreshing to kind of see this when Bitcoin is just selling off, right? So all good things there, but bottom line is we could see that support at 70 working as a essential support there, and it bounced off of that level. So moving forward, that's something to pay attention to. When the price goes above on the one-day chart on the RSI, you can get a bounce in a lot of cases. And that bounce too, by the way, is effectively very synonymous with this 363 level here. So the price kind of came down and bounced off here and the 50-day simple moving average. So it kind of just gave us a really strong buy signal, and we're able to take a nice, cool 15, 20% right there. That being said, though, Sandbox is looking good, right? But we would need to understand how much higher is it going to go, or obviously if it retraces, what is that potential, right? So we'll just go ahead and look at that, because honestly, it's going to be difficult to predict if it keeps going up, how much further will it go up, right? We can draw the Fibonacci retracement lines and kind of anticipate, but this is just kind of one of those things that just keeps getting a wild hair up its ass and keeps going. Obviously, there's a strong amount of fundamentals. I know that has a lot to do with it, so do your own research. But generally speaking, based on the technical charts alone, this is kind of somewhat of an anomaly. It should have calmed down by now, but it just won't, right? If we look at the 4-hour, look and see that TV sequential is telling us we're well past a 9. We hit the 9. We had like 4 to 8 hours of consolidation, and then the price ramped back up again. So yes, there was a healthy consolidation period here, but it doesn't look like it was long enough to continue. But keep in mind, that was a previous resistance level established by Fibonacci retracement, which was, I think, somewhere in the range of about 550. So it consolidated right at support, which is awesome, broke that previous resistance, and then continued to leg up. Unfortunately, I was asleep during this moment here, but we could see that the price had basically just continued upward. So all well and good. So kudos to you if you're still in Sandbox. Comment below if you are. And I would say just continue to hold in that sense, because it doesn't seem like it's showing any signs of slowing down. Can it go much higher? Yes. Will it go much higher? I personally don't think so, but I'm a lot more conservative than the average trader, and I ultimately like to take profits when I can. So, we took our profits already as a community, but truth be told, yeah, we probably should have set our sights a little higher, closer to $7, but hindsight's 2020, right? That's exactly how trading goes. So, get what you can while you can, but if you are holding on to sand for a while, this is probably obviously a good investment. Hold on to it and see where it goes, right? But if you want to consider taking profits, of course, you want to trim some of your position, take some of the profit you've earned, now would be probably a decent time because it does appear to be very overextended. Okay, just generally speaking, that's how it looks. Because you can see RSI is creeping up about 85 on this chart here, and oftentimes when you get closer to 80, 85, 90 on the RSI on the 4-hour, then you can tell that there's going to be some kind of turnaround soon. Also note there was a MACD convergence here. That's what we caught earlier. That's why I sent out a signal, because we had a MACD convergence, and then the Ishimoku cloud gave us that buy signal. So we'll take a look at the cloud here next and kind of see if we get that affirmation. But for right now, Sandbox is definitely on fire. Let's go ahead and get a quick look at that cloud and see where we're at. Okay, so here's something important to note. Basically, the way that the cloud works, first of all, it's a buy signal when the price is above, right? We got that buy signal back here, took entry, and then essentially took profits here. Now, taking a look at the big picture, though, it's still giving us, I wouldn't say it's giving us a buy signal, but what it's telling us is it's giving us a signal that we don't necessarily have to close our position just yet. And the reason why is because we have this baseline below the conversion line. Conversion line higher than the baseline, check number one, that's good news. When the lagging span is still far enough away from the price action, that's also good news, in which you probably should hold on and consider either trimming your position or just holding on for longer, right? And what I mean by that is until this line intersects with this, there's no reason to consider selling based on the fact that there's still momentum within this coin, right? So that being said, the price could very well just go sideways for 12, 24 more hours, and then it gives us that sell signal. But if it consolidates, just say for 6 to 12 hours, and it bounces, kind of like right here, we didn't get the price to intersect right here, so it's still a consideration to keep your position open, then the price continued upwards, right? So simply put, Sandbox is doing fantastic. It still has all the right signals right now to not necessarily want to close your position. I would consider moving up your stop loss as you go up, and we'll pull up the Fibonacci retracement levels. Actually, let's do that right now so we can kind of see what those will look like. Because it's important to understand generally what that's going to be. Because if you can see here, that was a previous resistance right there, right around 550. You can see it consolidated at resistance and then shot straight up sometime late in the evening last night, I think, or sometime yesterday. And what we're looking at here now, of course, the price went up to 728 as a rough estimate, and now it's retraced back down to 650. So you can see this little channel it's working itself into. It's a good chance we'll get some sideways action consolidation here, and possibly even another leg up. We just want to make sure to pay attention to the Ishimoku cloud and ensure that this conversion line, it's referred to as a lagging span. That lagging span needs to stay away from the price action. So what we need to see right now in the next 6 hours, somewhere in that range, is to see the price effectively increase so we don't get that intersection. Once that intersects, that gives us that sell signal to close our position and be safe. Again, Ishimoku Cloud is a safe trader's tool. That's why I love it, because it gives you good indications of buy signals and good indications of sell signals, and it eliminates risk for the most part. So just keep that in mind. If we get this lagging span to come over here, which would be roughly about 11 p.m. tonight, if that intersects with the price action, we want to close our position. Right? Generally speaking, that's how it works. Obviously, you have your diamond hands. Don't touch it. If you are hodling on for quite a long time, don't touch it, right? But if you're kind of more of a short-term, swing trading opportunities, then that would be a consideration of a sell signal, right? All right. So we're not there yet, but just generally speaking, that's what we're looking at. So let's go ahead and see. Let's go ahead and mark just some major support levels here, just in case the price were to retrace back down. So we have that for later, and then we can kind of look back and see what had performed. Because right now we're still a little early in the sense of the fact that we're not sure where it's going to go. It still has momentum. I think that it'll probably continue, but how much higher will it go? It's hard to say specifically. Let's just go with a hypothetical though, right? Because I love hypotheticals, but this is a liberal hypothetical. Of course, according to Sandbox, it's probably pretty normal based on its recent history, right? But we're looking at about, what, $10.84? Sorry, $10.84. So $10.84 is the potential for this coin over the next, I hate to even say it, over the next 2 to 3 days, we could even see that, right? Now, me personally, I don't think that will happen just because of the fact that it's increased so much in a short amount of time that we do need some kind of consolidation period. You'll hear me say that time and time again. Obviously, this is making me out to be somewhat of a liar, but I can tell you though that Sandbox, it has to slow down eventually, right? Everything what goes up must come down. It doesn't necessarily have to come straight down, but it's going to have to correct itself a little bit, right? And right now, we could even be seeing that correction. That's all well and good. That could be the case. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to take a closer look at this and kind of see what's going on. But simply put, if you want to kind of to summarize here, we have a pretty nice, decent amount of support right here at 0.5 on Fibonacci, which is $5.50. That is the previous high, right? So if you're going to move your stop loss, consider it just below that point to secure your profits if in case the bottom drops out. I don't personally think that's going to happen based on the hype here, but that wouldn't be a bad consideration. Let's take one last look here at the volume and kind of see where the volume's at in the last 24 hours. Yeah, see right there at support. So this volume is reaffirming that as a support level. So we got a strong amount of volume, strong accumulation at 535 of volume in the last, just say about 24, 48 hours. So that accumulation kind of works as a support level. You'll see it with the volume weighted average price too, where it creates this consistent support level moving with the price. This instead gives us that volume profile that tells us specifically where the price is going to relax if it comes back to that point and bounce in most cases. So that just reaffirms the fact that that was a previous all-time high and the current support level now because it was a resistance. Yeah, so that's awesome stuff here for Sandbox. So again, a good place to put your stop loss down there, somewhere in the range of, just say $5 to be safe. But ultimately, I would just say, consider taking profits as you continue to hit your targets. If you're not setting targets before you start trading, you are not doing it correctly. And obviously, it's okay if you want to, throw some sand into the wind, right, and see what happens. That's all well and good. But a smart trader will set multiple profit targets and ensure that their stop loss is moving up with that profit. Okay, so just make sure you do that. I hope you found benefit here. Sorry this went on a little longer than expected. We'll keep a close eye on Sandbox and appreciate your patience here. But once again, best case scenario, 1084 in 3 days. That's best case scenario. I would say more realistically, we're going to see the price have to consolidate for a little bit longer before it legs up again. That's just my thoughts. So I hope you found benefit here today. Thanks again so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Take care.